And we are live. Hi, everybody. I'm Red Balance, here with a extremely talented background artist. If you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Eduardo. I'm a background artist for OSL. It's a very cool project, and I'm excited for this. So nice to meet you all.
Yeah. So he's. Uh, you do use he/him pronouns, right?
Well, what?
What are your pronouns?
Him, he, him, he. That's
Yeah. Okay. I
I'm
thought
fine with
so.
it.
I wanted to be sure. Also, that actually was one of the questions that one of the patrons had, so got that out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, So we can just jump in and get started on it then, because I like to not waste any time.
No
And
problem.
okay, not too many questions this time, but I hope viewers can enjoy it regardless.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. Uh, so the first question is, um, tell us how you guys feel about the work you've done so far. Is there anything important you've learned, anything you've improved on, or anything you'd like to improve on?
Um, well, for me, it's kind of a new world working with animated series. I mean, I'm more into environment art, more focused on video games. Um, the kind of work that we're doing here for me is kind of reminds me of some work that I've been doing in college a year ago. Uh, it kind of reminds me of that because I had to, learn like a new style, a new art style.
Mhm.
Obviously, focus on the narrative of each, each individual story. In this case, in particular, I really like the dark theme because it was something I was really attracted by. But I wanted to explore it a little bit more, in a production pipeline, not so much into a personal work. And and even though I handle a style a little bit more realistic, at least in my intention and
Mhm.
my work approach. I think this one is kind of a good experiment for me to achieve uh, something new, or something uh, more interesting that I have done in the past. So, especially with the with the with the work with the textures, because I really love to have that feel of grungy feeling, and I think that fits well with the content of the series. So that's something I really like.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you could like work with a different style and everything. I when I first saw your art style on your application, I was like, oh, this this has to be here. Like we have to have this. Um,
Yeah,
was very impressed, and yeah, you've managed to adapt to the desired art style like really awesomely. So that's really good that you're getting
yeah,
something, some sort of satisfaction out of the project. Um,
yeah.
so I'll answer the question too. I am technically a background artist. I did like five of the backgrounds myself.
Uh,
um, so, so the question was just like, tell us how you feel about how you've worked, how you've, what you've done so far. And I think it's good. I just like, it's hard. This project has been a nightmare, for me especially.
yeah, Oh,
And
yeah.
uh, part of this question was also, is there anything important you've learned? And yeah, there definitely has been. I've learned a lot of ways to try to be better at organizing this sort of thing. Um, but it's I've learned some stuff. Like I remember when I first got the background artists into the server, and you were like, "Yeah, well, do we have any isometric layouts?" And I was just like, "Oh no, we don't have those."
Yeah.
But I tried to go with the flow. But the good news is that if we manage to get a second episode, I will be more prepared this time. um,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was just asking that time because it was something that they taught us to do back in school. And I mean, right away, you don't see like fit usage to it. But now, when you enter to um, the production time, you have to manage the camera angles like a little bit more like specific. So I think that tool specifically is kind of a good approach to manage that.
It
So
definitely worked out. Yeah, I ended up being pretty happy that you had mentioned that because it did end up uh, benefiting a lot from that. So that was
yeah,
cool. Uh, Cougar McDowell in the chat says pulls out wallet for second episode eyebrow wiggle. I mean, if you want to, for
yeah,
sure.
sure. Yeah,
Uh,
obviously. I mean, it's especially for me, it's kind of weird that I have like the courage of keep working in something like very specific in a long period of time. But with the content of this series, the plot that it's managing, and all the mood that it has, for me, is like I think I kind of belong here, so I can do this for a while.
I'm like so glad to hear that. I I really hope we can get more episodes beyond just the pilot, but we'll have to see. Um, so the next question is, who of the characters would be the most likely to start a scam business for for shits and giggles, discounting the obvious answer of Heather? So I don't imagine that you know how to answer this, which is fine. Um, I will
No,
try to answer this.
not at all, actually.
I'll try to answer this. I actually also don't know how to answer this because they took away the only answer that I feel makes sense. They said discounting the answer of Heather, but I feel like Heather's the only one who would do that. Um, I
Yeah,
can't imagine anybody else doing that, like whatsoever. So to anyone watching who has any idea what I'm talking about, I maybe somebody else can bring up someone who would do that because I
yeah.
don't
I mean,
know.
you can make up your theories. That's kind of the gist of all the lore that we're building here.
Okay. Yeah, I want to go more into that question, but
Yeah.
I'm like not uh prepared to answer that one. Um, okay, so this one's pretty easy. So the next question is favorite anime slash animated series.
My favorite anime series.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, that's kind of hard because uh, I mean, I don't know a lot of animes,
Right.
and and the ones that I've seen, I like them so much, so it's kind of hard for me to make a top.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
I would say like I mean, Death Note is an anime that even if you're not an anime fan, you should give it a try.
Which one?
Death Note.
Oh, Death Note. Yeah, I actually
Yeah,
haven't seen that yet, so I probably should.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my cousin who's not into anime at all,
Right.
he, I told him to watch it, so and he he finished it like in 2 days or something like that.
That's wild. Yeah. I haven't seen it either, and
Yeah,
recently my husband actually said we should watch it.
yeah,
He is the one who introduces me to pretty much every anime I've seen, and I'm a decent anime fan at this point. So my
yeah,
favorite, I like Naruto. I know it's like really overrated.
yeah.
um,
I think it's my second anime, my second favorite anime,
oh yeah,
Naruto.
have you watched the whole thing?
Um, I haven't since it's been so many years that I haven't keep up with
That's
the
fair. It
show
is like 500
then,
episodes.
but I know what's happening.
Mhm.
What I like the most about that series is specifically the all the plot behind Itachi and Sasuke.
Mhm.
I mean that's I mean they stole the show at
Oh
all.
yeah, yeah. The show just became all about Uchihas in the second half, but like we're not complaining about that.
Yeah, I mean that story specifically for me is like top notch.
Yeah, it was really good. Um, yeah, as far as just like any Western animated series, I just don't. I don't like a lot of them. Um, so I think we can consider that question answered.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to find ones that aren't lore related. I'm trying to find ones you can answer too. um, oh, okay. Here's somebody who is asking you specifically. Uh,
Okay.
do do you have a favorite character among the cast? If so, who and why?
Oh my god. You know, um, um, just a little disclaimer. I'm pretty bad at recalling names, so
Yeah,
um,
he kind of just draws the backgrounds. um, uh, but yeah, don't worry about it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I I can recognize some characters from their appeal and from some of the their intentions
Mhm.
and their role and their general role of what I've seen and little things that I've seen obviously. Um, like the I mean Celeste
Mhm.
is like the kind of character that you can, for me at least, it's, it kind of reminds me a little bit like recalling the question about the anime is for me it's like having like a Hinata style here,
Mhm.
but a bit more empowered, if you want to call it that. And I mean, for me, it's kind of a character that you can get along with. And I mean, for me, what I've seen is like I like the tender style that she has.
Yeah, she's
I'm more into
she's
those kind of
awesome.
characters, especially in anime. I like them so much. So. And I mean, for me, at least the aesthetics that are like pretty dark and um, yeah, like with it has like an horror mood. For me, like it's something like that I like. So, I mean, all the characters are extremely well made. Mm, but for me, it's like that. I don't know. Maybe like she's the top.
That's fair. I think. didn't all of the kind of asking the chat here, didn't all of the animators say like pretty much the same thing? Celeste has been well liked so far, which is good.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm I'm not so much into the series yet, but what I've seen so far, she's like the most um, yeah, the character you can relate the most. So that's for me that's kind of important, and I see it like in a part of a character designer, not only like an artist but also as a writer. That's something very really hard to achieve, in my opinion.
well, consider me flattered. No. um, okay, so all right, so we have one here. So to both of us, what is the best art program?
Okay,
Now the debate starts.
okay. First, we must separate the two-D pipeline of the 3D pipeline. I suppose we're talking here about the 2D pipeline. So, um, well, at the end of the game, it all depends.
Yeah.
Mostly in who's using the program.
Yeah, it's not the program. It's
Yeah,
not the program doesn't make the man. The man makes the program. Um, yeah,
I mean,
that's
at the end, it all depends on the artist.
yeah,
Mm,
that's that's true. Like
yeah.
that's true. I
Um,
think the person asking was trying to start a an argument, but you didn't let that happen.
um, I mean, I can talk about how you know, how my workflows or how do I use them within my workflow, all the software that I use. Maybe, I mean, maybe instead of making an argue here, we can. I mean, if you're interested in getting into art, we can share a little bit of our experiences.
Yeah.
We, I mean, well, at least for me, my something that I'm kind of like proud of myself is that I try to get to do more with less, and that includes software. So, I mean, most of the time, especially with the professional artists, they all gonna pick like the top notch software program. So in the 20 case, it's gonna be like
Hmm.
Photoshop, Boom, uh, even After Effects. Um, what I've done so far and what you can see in my portfolio, most of it, if not all of it, has been done in Procreate here in my iPad.
Okay.
So obviously compared with Photoshop, it has way less tools.
Right.
But it depends on who's using it. Because in my case, I managed to create some hacks that allow me to do stuff that, that they can be done in Photoshop. But if you know the tricks, you know your style, you know your subject matter, uh, you can completely get the same result. So at, at the end, as we said in the beginning, it all depends on the artist.
Yeah,
And
I would agree with that. I agree with that like a lot actually. I know a lot of people talk up Photoshop and I just, I don't know. I know it has a lot of tools. It just doesn't feel comfortable to use for me. I've tried to use it before. Uh, I just don't feel right. That sounds really stupid, but
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel. I mean, I don't know. And like, unless I'm mistaken, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was never really intended to be an art program. I understand it has the capability, but it's supposed to be a photo editing software, I believe, and trying to use that for art, like it has
yeah,
tools, yes, but you can tell that it wasn't made for an artist. I sound like ridiculous right now, but
yeah. Same here. I mean, I don't really like how it feels like a program. So, but
yeah, for
it
sure. And
personally, because right now I'm looking forward to find like an internship. All of them ask me to know how to use Photoshop, and
oh,
I mean, you must. I mean, you must have the criteria on what they mean when they say that, because at the end of the day, it's just a tool. What they can, what they appreciate the most is your artistic skills. That
mhm.
you have a vision, like a style, where you can identify if something looks good or not, and how you can fix that.
Yeah, I've run
And
into. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've run into similar situations. I remember one time I was gonna uh, enter some contest, some sort of art contest, and it was like, oh, you have to use Photoshop. I was like, why? Like, I can make it look the same in a different program. So I didn't
Yeah,
end up entering. And I use Paint Tool Sai because it just feels really comfortable. It's definitely not the most advanced program, not by a long shot, but it feels
no,
comfortable.
no, but you can get the job done if you know what you're doing, and at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I think you're totally on the money there, and that's not a we don't hear that argument enough because yeah, most people are just like, well, Photoshop or you're dead to me.
Yeah, but I mean, you can go with whatever you want if you feel comfortable with it. If you're getting into a company or a big studio, well, good luck with Photoshop.
Yeah, enjoy Photoshop.
So that will be my answer.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I agree with you, really. Um, Another question is, what is the most out there yet interesting theory you've heard regarding your content? Do people say things about your content that could apply to this question?
Um, I don't know if I'm more into. I'm not so into the theories of defense yet. If that's the question.
Well, like, does anybody like make weird theories about your content? Like, is anyone like, "Hey, I bet you did drugs while you made this," or anything?
Okay. Uh, kind of. Um, Specifically with my last artworks, because when I started like painting like more seriously, it's basically a lot of experimenting on what you want to do and what style fits you. And one of the theories that people have, especially my mom, is that like I'm a really lonely person. That I like to be lonely.
Hmm.
I like to be alone. I like to be with myself. Because when I started painting, a lot of my subjects were like a character like looking at the horizon with no one else around him. Um, I mean, it might sound like a tragic plot, but it is. I mean, it's not necessarily that. I mean, I don't know. Especially at that age, I really think about what I'm doing and all. I'm just experimenting on what I like, what I don't, what can I do, and why why this uh, why this looks good, and if I feel good doing it. So yeah, specifically more like psychological theories. I got a lot on that need.
That's really interesting. I always
Yeah,
find it interesting when people talk about like their one of or both of their parents and
yeah,
their opinions on their child's artwork because I would not show my family anything I did. Like they they have no idea. My dad especially has no clue.
yeah.
Just don't trust them. Um,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah. Same story over here. Like, I mean, not not quite, but um, not quite, but still uh, well, in my case, my father is the one that introduced me to the world of horror because he's a painter himself.
oh
Um, but the thing is that like he's doing fine art and I'm doing more like concept art. Is I mean, at the beginning, you can you can see the difference between the styles, and of course the idea behind producing each one of them. Because my father is more like into admiring the the all masters.
hmm
I mean, if you want to really be a good artist, I mean, I recommend you to check them out. But just like a theoretical base, not like you have to be the greatest artist in the world. You just have
right
to do whatever it fits you.
hmm
And I mean, it all started with basic theory, but in a further point, it started to turn into like the same path of the fine art that he took,
right
and I mean I was okay with that because at the end of the day, still I mean you're still doing art, but I didn't see like myself doing that all my life. But when I play video games and watch a lot of movies and series, I thought, well, I can actually do that because I mean if they're doing it, why shouldn't I? So
yeah that's actually that's really interesting.
I
I'm
mean
always so interested to hear stuff like people's backgrounds and with art and stuff.
yeah, I mean if you like them and if you see people living making a living with it, so
Yeah.
yeah, you can completely go with it. So
Yeah. It can be done. That's true.
yeah,
Um yeah,
yeah,
I did not have parents who were art inclined whatsoever. Um
yeah,
they didn't really have any faith that this could be,
yeah,
like you said, like a career or a path or however it wants to be worded. My whole family was pretty like not cool with it. They weren't like against it, but they just kind of were like, whatever. um,
yeah,
and and then they wonder why I don't show them anything. So that's funny. uh, but it is what it is, and somebody in the chat is mentioning the time my mom was on a stream, I guess, they're trying to say I'm full of shit when I say that my parents don't know about stuff. So that was the only and first time, the first and only time my mom was involved in anything that I do. That's why she didn't know any of the characters she was guessing. um, so yeah, and my dad definitely doesn't. My dad has like no clue. Um, we've like strayed off the question though. I am sorry. Um, the question, what was it originally? Oh, what's the most like out there theory? Yeah. So for me, I mean, I can't even pick the amount of people who make theories about my work. I mean, the people like mostly regarding my series. It, sometimes people say things that I'm just like, did you even like, what? Like, what are you talking about? um, people who have like read the novels, so they should know, right? They should know like about what's happening. Uh, they'll say things that I'm just mind boggled and like, did we even read the same things? Like, what are you talking about? But I don't get a lot of theories about me though, like me as a person. So
Okay. I mean, that's for me at least. That sounds healthy enough because there are a lot of toxic people that try to make up theories that try to make an image of yourself that goes into your you as a person. Like, I mean,
yeah, that
I
would
mean,
be
you don't have to do that at all because that's for me at least. I think that's not correct because you're judging a person
yeah,
based on what on what he or she does.
yeah, yeah. That would be pretty messed up for sure. I'm sure it has happened to me, but I just can't
Yeah, I mean
recall a time.
it happens all the time, but it doesn't mean that it's completely correct.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for sure. Let's see. If you could be an expert at either coloring or line art, which would you pick and why? If choosing one got rid of your skill in the other, would it change your answer?
Okay, what was the first part? Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's saying if you could be either an expert at coloring or line art, which would you pick? But you're a painter, so I'm not really sure the line art thing applies to you that much.
I mean, I do a liner, but in order to get to the coloring.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
if you had to pick one to be good at and one to be horrible at, what would you choose?
coloring, definitely.
Yeah, I would probably choose coloring as well, cause yeah, you don't always need line art. Like you do, but I can sketch and then paint, so I don't necessarily have to have the clean line art. Although, now that I think about it, though, I do need line art for animating. I can't really animate without being good at that. So,
Yeah,
hmm,
that
shoot,
would be
yeah,
awful.
that is hard in that sense. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you need a liner in some point, especially when you're a beginner and figuring out how to get the shapes, the proportions, um, the general form of what you're drawing, the composition. But at the end, I mean, at least if you're a really, really good line art artist, uh, just in that case, but otherwise your artwork will feel unfinished
Hmm. Yeah,
for me. what I think at least, in my opinion. So that would be.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's just a hard question.
Yeah,
But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. As a question just for me here, directed at me. Does Jewel wear the same clothing all those years ago again? Was wondering since I see her in the sweater and pearls around her neck. So they're they're just asking like, why does a character wear the same clothes between time periods? I mean, um, that I would just chalk up to like it's a cartoon. um,
yeah,
I do usually like try to change the character's clothes between like if time has passed, but um, I don't know. You know, Jewel just she just loves that sweater, I guess. She's just gonna stay in that, so that's.
yeah,
I don't have a lore reason. It's one of those things where it's like, well, why is there background music? Like, you know, it's a cartoon.
yeah, yeah. No.
So I believe that is all of the questions. There's a couple other lore related ones, but I don't want to really get like super into those since you know this was really
Yeah.
intended like to focus on the artistic process and stuff more. Um, so I think we'll close it off here soon, unless you have anything that you want to say.
Um. Well, no, not really. I mean, if you will obviously support the series, I mean, uh, share our work with everyone you can.
Thank you.
So we'll have like more audience that gets to know these cool projects. Um, and if you can follow me, you can do it. So you can get in contact with me. You want to talk with me, or maybe you might want to get some advice or related to like getting into art or something.
Hmm.
I can answer that. Uh, or just to say hi, I will appreciate it a lot.
Oh, that's nice of you. I'll definitely have to make sure your like link to your Instagram gets in the description of this.
Yeah, of course. Um,
And yeah, yeah, guys, make sure to. I always stress this. Make sure to share and like and you know support all of the members of the team here because I can attest that they are working really really hard, um, and they definitely deserve to you know be noticed and recognized for that. And if you guys want the series, I know a lot of the people here are people who read the novels originally, so if you want to see this animated, you should definitely support because it literally it can't happen without support. So
yeah.
really appreciate everyone who was here today. So I think it was a little shorter one today, but that's all right.
No, for me it's fine. I mean, good questions. Again, a little apologize if I messed up with my language,
You
with
did fine.
my English pronunciation, and so.
And I think your English was fine.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Okay.
And thanks for the opportunity to get in contact with the audience with the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. I like having these streams, so it's always good to have a guest on them. Um, and
Yeah,
I think that's everything. So thank you guys for coming. You too. Thanks for joining me on the stream.
for receiving me and having me in the project.
Of course. All right. I will see you guys later.